What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss if there will be a Death Stranding 2. Will we get a Death Stranding 2? But I want to kind of talk about the general idea of a second game, because I think there's more to it than just, sometimes I make these videos for games that come out and I say, will there be a sequel? Will there be a third game in the trilogy? Will they get stuff like that? And it's not so simple as saying okay, well, let's predict how many years it's going to take for Kojima to make it and how long it'll take for it to be out. Will it just be a PS5 exclusive? Yada, yada. It really is more to it than that in general of do we even need, and that could be just a different video, but I do want to discuss it here. Do we need a Death Stranding 2? That's where it gets super, super hard. And honestly, I'm very, very conflicted. I totally see a possibility of a sequel. I totally see this being something that, hey, if they ever wanted to come back and revisit this, they really could. From what I know, and there is going to be spoilers in this video, by the way. I'm going to start off right here. The ending of this game, I know I made the ending explain. I've talked about it a little bit, and I think I have an okay grasp of it, but I still may be missing stuff. So if I get something wrong here, or if I'm just flat out forgetting something, make sure you guys let me know in the comments below. It basically does leave the door open for a sequel. And the way it does that is basically by saying, hey, this Death Stranding, it's still gonna happen. All we're doing by separating the beaches and by having Sam, Norman Reedus' character, not get to Amelie, the only reason we're doing that, or the only thing that accomplishes, is we're delaying. We're basically delaying the inevitable. It's still going to happen. Society and people in general are going to get wiped out, but we're going to buy you more time. We're going to buy you more time to connect even more people. We're going to buy you more time to evolve and get ready for it. And that's basically what she says. It's happened 5 times before, and each time society has evolved, or whoever's alive has evolved, and some people have made it through to get through to the next one, and they've continued to grow, and they've expanded the world, basically. So that's what she tells Norman Reedus' character Sam, is it's still gonna happen. It could take a couple months, it could take years, it could take 100,000 years, but the end is still gonna come. This 6EE, this 6 extinction entity, or I am that, right? And this is going to happen. It's just we're gonna buy you a little bit more time. It's also been said multiple times throughout the game, especially Cliff, Mads Mikkelsen's character, who's Sam's father. He routinely is mentioned basically in the game that the moon is constantly referenced in this game, and outer space in general, of really the only way of getting away from this thing is to get off the planet, get off of Earth, and go somewhere else, ideally the moon, and restart there. So that is a common thing that hey, if the technology if we can keep growing this technology, which technology is advancing and they're getting kind of close, well then maybe one day we could just all leave this planet, go to the moon, and survive it. So why did I say that? Why did I just recap the entire ending? Well, because that is what a second game could be. I guess technically you could make it a trilogy and have the third game even on the moon, right? But you could work towards getting spacecraft ready, right? The second game could be about, okay, we've connected all of society. It's time to bring everybody together. It's time to start building some aircraft, and we're going to get up there and we're going to leave this planet. So that's just spitballing ideas, and it's Kojima, and that's the thing. It would be 10,000 times weirder than that. But it is possible. So those are all the ideas, the pros, the reasons why, it really could work. There could be a central idea of the future. The game is left open in a way where it's you didn't really beat them. You didn't really beat the centralized threat. You just delayed it. So a second game is possible. Here's all the things working against it, though. And this is the biggest thing. And I don't hate this game. I love this game. This is a game that I never really thought I needed in my life, but now that I have it, I need it. Okay, so I'm not like a super fanboy. I won't defend everything about this game, but I don't hate this game. I'm not a hater. I'm not going to attack it. But I can't criticize it. And here's the negatives. Here's the reasons why. Really, I personally would tell you, we really don't need a second Death Stranding. I think I'm okay with the first one, unless there's radical changes. I like the gameplay. Okay, when I started this game, the first 5, 6, 7 hours, I can tell you I did not like the gameplay. I even told my best friend Nick, nope, I'm not liking it. I don't like stumbling around. I don't like how long it takes. Like, I'm just not into it. I love the story. I love the idea of it, so I keep pushing on, right? Now, 10, 11, 12, 13 hours, you keep going into the game, it gets monumentally better. It gets a lot better. Should it? And it's exactly actually what Hideo Kojima said is like, hey, it takes like 5-10 hours to pick up. He's right. Around the 9-hour mark, there's like a really big, awesome cutscene that happens with Troy Baker's character, and then after that, you start to see, you start to see after like 5-6 hours where the gameplay is going. So again, long story short, I like the gameplay, but I just don't know if people would buy that again. If you come out with a Death Stranding 2 and it's the same kind of gameplay, you maybe make it a little bit bigger in terms of the world, you make it bigger in terms of like there's more things you can do in the world, right? Walking around. But like I feel like the idea of Death Stranding, if you're playing as Sam again, which I would assume you would, if you're playing as Sam, if you're playing in Death Stranding, the idea is pretty easy. You take a package from one spot to another spot. And they weren't lying, and Hideo Kojima was not lying when he said that's what you'll be doing the entire time. That is what you do the entire time. You are walking around. You are a delivery boy. You deliver things. Again, the gameplay does kind of advance. Yeah, there's like boss fights too. Like there's kind of things. I mean, there's like some gameplay fighting things you can do, but I mean like 3% of this game is that 97% is walking. So, but like my basic point is like, will people do that again? Will people be sold on doing that again? Will people buy it to do that exact thing twice? I really don't know. I really think, in my honest opinion, that is what holds it back. That like you can't really make it like. I mean, people would buy it if it was quite a bit different, but I don't know if you can make it different because the whole point is that. And again, even if you were to make a Death Stranding 2, I really do think it would have something to do with building some sort of like advanced technology so they could shoehorn delivering things again. You need to bring this spacecraft material from this place to the next. And again, there's like a huge backstory, and there'll be villains and stuff like that. So there's that. So like, I just don't know. The second biggest thing, there's really only two big things, but these two are honestly massive. So that was the first. The second thing is I feel like the thing that made Death Stranding so special were the mysteries about it, was the world learning, like literally learning what was going on, what happened in the past, who's Sam, what's his character, who are these people connected to him, what's going on with society. The game is 40, 50, 60 hours of them explaining to you what's going on. Past, present, future, what's going on. Again, with you as a character, with everybody in the room, with your father, with your ancestors, with beaches, with BTs, with BBs. I mean, the list could go on for hours, and it does. It goes on for 40, 50, 60 hours. Again, I don't hate that. I'm not complaining. I even made a video a couple days ago. I do actually like that they explain a lot of things in this game. The worry, though, the main problem with that is such a fundamental and big part of this game that if you made a second game, what are you going to fill it with? What would end up having to happen is you need to make it 1,000 times more convoluted, or you need to introduce a brand new element storytelling-wise that wasn't in the first game, that like deepens the lore, deepens the mystery, but also probably makes it 1,000 times more confusing. You run into the risk of messing up what you've already established. Like, you know what I mean? Things like that. It's also problems that any big universe has in general. Marvel, Star Wars. Star Wars runs into this problem a lot, right? Where they establish something, they established a lot in 4, 5, and 6, and then they kind of backtracked and they made up their own rules and they forgot their own rules and all sorts of things in 1, 2, and 3. And those are some of the most fundamental problems with those movies. I'm not saying Hideo Kojima would do that, but that's a possibility. That's something you have to worry about. And again, like, more to that is the whole point of, like, basically this whole game is explaining things, like the idea of what you're doing and learning about what happened, like what's going on in this world. Who the heck is that character? Who the heck is Higgs? Who are all these characters? What's going on here? That is a main part of this game. Like, that's basically the entirety. It's like the padding time of this game, right? So if you made a second one, again, you would need to introduce brand new things to have that time, because you'd need it to be just as long of a game. You're not going to suddenly have a Death Stranding 2 come out and it's a 5-hour thing. So, you know what I mean? And so you lose a lot of the mystery, a lot of the intrigue. I think that's a good word. A lot of the interest in this game was on those things. Bravo to Hideo Kojima. Like, they built it up. And when you play this game, I feel like there is a sense of wonder as a player of, like, what's going on. That's good. I mean, I think it's good for them that we have that wonder, and it's good it's good just in general that they explain it and they tell us it, and we gradually start to learn more and more. That's great. That makes a very, very solid game for what this is. Can you do that again? I really don't think so, because now we know some of the twists. We know who characters are. We know where they came from. We know where they're going. We know what society's up to. You know what I mean? Like, we know all those things now. So now what do you do? What do you even do for a second game? What's the main threat? What's the main idea of the second game? Well, people want to play a walking sim. I will call it that, because you do just walk for the whole game. I like it, but would I want to do it again for 40 hours? That's very, very debatable, and I don't blame anybody for jumping off or even saying, like, yeah, I would do it again. That's awesome. You know, everybody's opinion, totally, totally cool. But, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know if people would be up for that. And then secondly, you know, the lore, the background stuff, all the kind of meat to this game, the stuff that really gives you the entire game, the world building. Can you do that again? You really can't repeat that again, right? You can't have those same twists because it's already happened. So what do you do? So that's the central question. Notice how I didn't even ask about Hideo Kojima himself, if he would want to do it, about the studio, about if Sony would come back to them to want to make the exclusive, like all those things. I think those are all like secondary. Those are all things that are not even worth considering. More or less, the first things considering is what I talked about here, and then you can wonder about the studio and all those kind of things. So I think it's an interesting question, but guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Well, will we get a Death Stranding 2? Should we? Do we need a second Death Stranding? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you, as always, for watching. We're still giving away this game. The giveaway goes until the end of next week. So if you guys want the game, sign up there. A video on our channel. So just check our channel. You'll see the video right away. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next video.